this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down, bear down.
What's going on, Bears fans? Before I get this episode started, I have to tell you guys about MyBookie. This year, I'm betting the football season with MyBookie. When betting with MyBookie, you'll receive a 100% match on your very first deposit up to $1,000.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Betting with MyBookie this season was the obvious choice for me because every time this happened,
Touchdown Bears!
or this happened,
80-yard touchdown run!
I win. The best part about this whole thing is that you can support the show by using the promo code KOTM. So Bears fans, what are you waiting for? Go to mybookie.ag, use my promo code KOTM, and receive a 100% match on your first deposit up to $1,000 and make it a winning season with MyBookie today. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Before I get this episode started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on this podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. So we are on to week 2. We are forgetting about that week 1 game against the Los Angeles Rams where we flat out got embarrassed. Straight up. Especially on the defense side of the ball. But that's in the past now. We're moving on to week 2 where we come home to Chicago and take on Joe Burrow and a very confident Cincinnati Bengals team. And once again, I am joined by my dad. How you doing, Dad?
What's up, son? Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. And you're in your brand new Bears gear, as you can see. You're feeling yourself today.
I'm feeling myself. I'm in the all white, baby. All white.
So as you can see, we're in a new area. I usually do Keek on the Mic on my green screen, or we're in our living room. So I think the Bears fans deserve a tour of your nice little office going on here.
Yeah, this is my nice little Bears office. It used to be a Bears/Yankees office. I know Chicago fans don't want to hear that because it's either Bears and Cubs, but I am a Yankees fan, but I changed it all to Bears. I got the Walter Payton fathead over there. Walter Payton's my guy. That's why I'm a Bears fan, because of Walter Payton. I got the stadium. That's the picture of the 2018, the 100th season year.
Right.
I got a Walter Payton jersey right behind me. I got the Bears helmet over there. Right behind me, I got an autographed football from Gale Sayers. So it's building, but this is my Bears room, and this is my comfort. Like when I get upset, I come in here and kind of woosah.
So even when they lose, is it still comforting to come in here, or is it kind of like you don't want to be in here?
It's very comforting because I witnessed the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's been 30-some years, but I witnessed it. And the only thing that I didn't like about that Super Bowl is Walter Payton didn't get a touchdown.
Right. And I feel like a lot of the old head Bears fans like yourself are probably still like, what the hell?
Right.
Why didn't he get the ball?
Exactly.
And that could be a whole separate podcast just right there. Why didn't Walter Payton get the ball?
Right.
And that's 30 years removed now. People are still pissed.
That part.
So, like I said, we're going against the Cincinnati Bengals where we get to come home after a rough week 1, especially for the defense side of the ball. And I would say, once again, Matt Nagy. You look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They have a little confidence. They beat a decent Minnesota Vikings team. They have a defense that's kind of aging as well, kind of on the ending skirts of their defense, right? And then you look at the Bears, and they're trying to figure themselves out. But I look at this game as a rebound game for Matt Nagy and our defense. So what's the first thoughts on this week 2 matchup?
Well, like you said, the Bengals are riding high right now, and they should be, because a win is a win. They didn't know what Burrow was going to be like, man. They were saying that in preseason he didn't want to be touched. He was throwing his leg up because he didn't want to be hit, man. So I mean, he should have some confidence, and they should come in here with some type of confidence after they seen how the Bears defense performed.
Right. And just sticking with the Bengals right now, like you said, like you mentioned, Joe Burrow during the process of this camp was lifting his leg up. He looked scared. It didn't look like he was going to be ready.
Right.
And then you had Jamar Chase saying he couldn't see the football.
Right.
But then they come in week 1 against, like I said, a pretty decent Minnesota Vikings team where they were the underdog at home, and they handled their business. A win's a win. Some things went down controversial. Dalvin Cook, was he down? We don't know.
Yeah.
A win is a win, and they should be really confident, especially the way that this Bears defense played, especially when you look at the secondary. Jamar Chase is probably like, oh, I'm about to have a heyday.
Right.
So there should be a little bit of confidence. Then you look at the Bears' point of view, and it's like, what is the defense going to do after the way they played?
Right.
Can the offense score in the red zone?
Right.
There's so many different question marks going into this game. But I do feel like this is a good opportunity for the Chicago Bears to get that rebound.
For sure. For sure it is. And there's no doubt in my mind that they will rebound.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of miscues, a lot of mistakes in the secondary, but I think it's going to be fixed. I truly believe that.
Yeah, and I think that starts with Sean Desai coming down onto the field. I think he needs that interaction with his players.
For sure.
You know, and I know there's been a lot of people in the Bears community this week saying, where is Eddie Jackson? Can the real Eddie Jackson please stand up? Because where did he go?
Right.
You get paid all that money, right?
Right.
And now it seems like he's just not the same anymore.
Well, to piggyback on that, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson is a free safety. He's not a strong safety.
Right.
And when you got two free safeties and one of them got to come down in the box eventually, when we had Adrian Amos, you heard nothing but good things about Eddie Jackson because he was able to roam the field.
Right.
But now you got two free safeties playing the same spot.
Right.
So that's a lot of the problem.
Right.
The whole tackling thing, I don't understand that part.
Right.
But as far as him coming down in the box and being strong safety, that's never been his game.
Right, and this is something that Sean Desai as a defensive coordinator, Matt Nagy as a head coach are going to have to figure out really quickly because, you know, I don't want to look past the Bengals, but then you have, of course, the Browns, a very good team. The Lions, I don't care how bad they look. It's a divisional game. That's still going to be a tough game, right? Mm-hmm. So they have to figure this out quick. And it's not like the Bengals don't have good weapons. They have a good bulk of young talents, right? Joe Mixon. Of course, Joe Burrow had a really good game. And then you have Jamar Chase. You have, I think it's Tyler Boyd. They have a good mix of young talent, and they're getting there, and they're playing with confidence. Right. The one thing that I'm looking for this Bears defense, to exploit about this Bengals offense is that offensive line. Right. Minnesota got to Joe Burrow 5 times, and I think if the Bears can start getting back to those sack numbers, right, getting those sack numbers up, maybe get a couple of turnovers, maybe their confidence will slowly start to come back. Right.
And real quick, man, I just got to get something off my chest. I'm sick or tired of people saying that Khalil Mack doesn't do anything. Where's Khalil Mack? I don't know what fucking game you were watching, but Khalil Mack rushed a passer and ran down 20 yards and made a damn tackle. So I don't know what game you was watching. And then another thing you got to understand, if you're a true football person and you know what the hell you're talking about, when Khalil was getting all them sacks, he was playing DN. He wasn't an outside linebacker.
Right.
So I just need people to calm down because he drops a lot, and that's what they're doing. But if you want him to get more sacks, then you're going to have to move his position. You're going to have to put him at DN, or you're going to have to change your defense to a 4-3.
Right. And that may be something that Sean Desai may have to consider, especially maybe to help Robert Quinn as well.
Yeah.
Because Robert Quinn is another person that he is bad.
Yeah, he got overpaid.
Yeah, he is bad, like terrible.
He got overpaid. We would have been better off keeping Floyd.
And it just amazes me now that I'm looking at that Rams game, right? I want to see a whole lot more of Travis Gibson.
Right.
I don't think I've saw Travis Gibson a lot at all, barely at all.
Right. And then another thing is, you can say that they embarrass us, which they did, and we got our butt kicked. But at the same time, that was all on our doing.
Right.
That was all on our doing. Those two, especially the first bomb. The first bomb, if you just said his name.
Robert Quinn.
If Robert Quinn stays the outside contained.
Right.
Matthew Stafford don't get a chance to throw that ball.
Right.
He got a chance to throw that ball because Quinn bit on the fake to the running back instead of keeping his contained.
Right.
So that's on us.
Right.
You know,
and I expect the Bengals to come in and exploit the secondary. It's no mystery. And I expect Joe Burrow to do those RPOs where he's going to roll out right. So as long as Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn can hold or contain, like you said, we won't have any issues.
right.
We really won't. You take those 2 big plays away in that Rams game, it's a totally different ball game. That's just the honest truth. This is a big opportunity for this defense to get their confidence back, get that swagger back. And there was some good things. It wasn't all bad. But this is a huge opportunity at home with the home crowd. And I still think the home crowd's going to be buzzing.
Right.
For this matchup.
Right.
And then going even further in this matchup, and I kind of want to ask you this because I know we've been talking about it on and off, and this is like the main topic going around in the Bears community right now. Is it time for Justin Fields to start, or are you going to leave Andy Dalton in?
I think I'm going to leave Andy Dalton in for the simple fact is he did nothing to deserve to sit on the bench. He followed the game plan.
Right.
I mean, everybody was upset at Andy Dalton because he's throwing 5 yards. That was the game plan.
Right.
I mean, and then the Rams were not allowing us to go deep.
Right.
That's why they stayed. Understand something. And this is another thing. If you know football, you'll know this. That's why when you are in a cover 2, you're able to run the damn football. That's why we were getting so much yards on the ground.
Right.
Okay? When you bring that guy down in the box, that's when you have to throw.
Yeah, but the Rams weren't giving us that
They
opportunity.
stayed in cover 2.
Right, because they knew that we weren't going to,
Right.
Yeah, that's true. And do you agree with what Matt Nagy's doing, like just bringing Justin Fields in for a couple plays, or
No.
it doesn't make sense?
No. Leave him on the sideline, let him learn, give Andy Dalton his fucking 4 games and move on.
Right.
Okay? But on the other hand, if you feel that Justin Fields is ready,
Right.
then put him in.
Right.
And let's get started with the Justin Fields thing. But if he's not ready, then let him sit, let him watch, let him learn.
And I do have to get this off my chest, not only to you, but to the rest of the Bears fans that listen to the podcast. If the Bengals come in here, and let's just say they embarrass us, or let's just say they get the win, but let's just say they embarrass us for some reason, and Andy Dalton just looks bad, I'm pulling them. I don't care if we're playing Cleveland in week 3. I think it may be time. Unless we're just comfortable saying, you know, we're just give Andy his 4 games. If we go 1-3, that's fine. If they're really content with sticking to their gun, I actually kind of respect that because usually they don't do that. Usually they kind of say one thing and then go the opposite, right?
Right.
So if that's your plan,
Right.
to just say, all right, Andy Dalton gets 4 games no matter what, I guess we have to respect that.
Right.
Because usually it's the opposite.
Right. But once again, I go back to what I just said. If Justin Fields is ready,
You got to put him in.
he should play Sunday.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, stop doing this little thing, man, where you put him in for 2 plays.
Right.
And run
Right,
his RPO. Let Andy Dalton, let the Red Rifle do that shit. I mean, why we need to bring him in and then there's no consistency.
Right.
Let the Red Rifle get his thing going,
Right.
and then we'll see what happens. If he comes out Sunday and he's horrible, we get blown out by the Bengals, maybe it is time for a switch. Because I don't care what nobody say, the Bengals are not that good. I mean, yeah, they can come in and beat us. Anyone can be beaten, but they're not the Rams.
Right. And with that whole matchup with the Vikings are not very good either. I'm not high on Kirk Cousins. Like, I'm not really impressed by them beating the Vikings. We can beat the Vikings.
Right.
You know, I'm not impressed by that game.
Right.
Things just happened to go their way. They made plays when they needed to make plays, and that's that. But there is flaws to that Bengals team. Right. The offensive line's still not very good.
Right.
The defensive line is pretty good, but do they have any, like, statement player like Aaron Donald?
Right.
No, we can exploit that defense.
Right.
So this is when it comes up to, Matt Nagy. Are you going to have a good game plan?
Right.
Are you going to go for it on 4th and 15 when there's points on the fucking board?
Right.
It's very simple.
Very much.
It's really not that hard to be a coach.
We're not sending people to the moon.
We're not sending people to the moon. So this is on Matt Nagy. And what is our defense going to do? How are they going to respond? I think the offense did pretty well. Just the same simple problems, not being able to score in the red zone. But like we keep saying, they were just following what Matt Nagy had. That was his game plan.
Well, we're not scoring in the red zone because we're not giving the ball to the right people.
Right.
You seen what happened, man? We threw the ball to Jimmy Graham one time on Jalen Ramsey.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
don't get me wrong. Jalen Ramsey's a baller. He's everything in a bag of chips. But everybody can be beaten.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyone can be beaten. But
Absolutely.
you didn't test him.
Nope. And that's the thing. That's what people have to remember. We were in the game.
Right.
So obviously we're gonna be in this game as well. It's our first home game. They're gonna have the home crowd behind them. I expect the Bears to come out and try to get that monkey off their back and say, you know what? We could beat the Bengals, and they know that.
Right.
And I expect that. I expect them to come out with some passion, and I think hopefully Matt Nagy, like I said, can get out of his own way and make things happen.
And good old Keek on the mic gonna be in the house.
Yes. I am gonna be in the house with the fiance. We're gonna be kind of where the Bears come out, their tunnel. So I'll be over there in that side. I think it's like section 148.
Right.
If you happen to be in Chicago, if you live in Chicago and you see me around town, don't hesitate to come say what's up. Because I that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
So now we are going on to the 3 keys to a Bears win. And just some quick prediction. Number 1 for me, and obviously I don't think you're going to give your keys. You're just going to roll off of mine. But number 1 for me, keep feeding David Montgomery. I don't know what Matt Nagy is thinking in his mind. Obviously, we got down pretty fast. Like, it was a close game, and then it was like, oh, we're down by 14. But still, like you said, they were in a certain coverage that was allowing David Montgomery to get a lot of rushing yards. But okay. If you want us to run, we'll just torch you with the running game all day then.
Right.
David Montgomery had 16 carries for 108 yards and a touchdown.
Right.
Showing no signs to stop him. David Montgomery was so good against the Rams that he even broke a tackle from Aaron Donald, which is pretty impressive.
Right.
So that's key number 1. Feed David Montgomery. He is the core to this offense to get this offense going. If you get the running game going, obviously that's going to help Andy Dalton.
Right.
It's very simple. And it would technically help the offensive line.
Yeah.
Key number 2. Got to try to push the ball downfield. We have too many weapons. If they allow us to do that, which even if they don't allow us to do it, I think you could still take your shots here and there.
Right.
You get the running game going, play action, right? We need to go downfield to Allen Robinson. It's pitiful that we couldn't at least try once to get the ball downfield to Allen Robinson or Demir Byrd or Marquise Goodwin. What happened to all the speed that we were promised?
See, but that's what I told you. You remember we talked about it. And when we had Patterson.
Right.
The same thing. It's like he gets all these toys
Right.
and he claims that he has all these toys, but then he don't know what the fuck to do with them.
Right.
Like sometimes you can have too many toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. After 1 week, Marquise Goodwin's already calling him out.
I saw that.
In his press conference today, he said it's frustrating that basically we couldn't go deep.
Right.
When we have all this speed, you couldn't figure something out.
Right.
Matt Nagy, you couldn't game plan your speedsters to get open.
Yeah.
So slowly you're starting to see, Matt Nagy's getting exposed.
See, but then that's where, to me, then, if you're so worried about Andy Dalton, then that's where you should probably bring in Justin Fields in. Because Jalen Ramsey's good, but he ain't covering nobody for 3 seconds.
No,
3 or 4
absolutely
seconds.
not. Absolutely not.
So once he gets past Aaron Donald, now what is the back end going to do? Because Justin Fields going to get free.
Yeah, and some people, the analysts on ESPN, actually made a good point today, and I was actually on board for it. They said, I don't think the Bears anticipated their defense was going to show up like that on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. If their defense has another game like that against the Bengals, and they play like that, your best chance to win at that point is putting in Justin Fields.
Right.
Because then you're got to start trying to score points.
Right.
And Justin Fields gives you the opportunity to score more points.
Right.
That's if the defense continues to play like that.
Well, but my thing is, and we talked about this on Sunday too, I'm not condoning what the defense did because they usually don't play that bad.
Right.
But this defense has been carrying this team for fucking 20 plus years.
Absolutely. It's a statement.
It's always been
a Bear staple.
That's why we're called monsters of the Midway.
Right.
Because of our defense. It wasn't the offense. So it's about time the offense to start scoring some fucking points. Matt Nagy, this is your 4th year. It's time for your offense to start scoring some points. And I will say this once again until I'm blue in the face. Give us 24 points. Give us fucking 24 points, and I guarantee you we will win. It would be hard to beat us.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that's a big problem, you know. And I think that starts, we need some explosive plays. I'm not saying go nuts, right? You don't have to go deep every single play.
Right.
But when you start running the football, all right, I'm going to try to go deep. I don't care what coverage you're in. Allen Robinson will come down with half of them.
Right.
I promise you that. We didn't even give him an opportunity.
Right.
And that's a big concern for me. You have all these speedsters, and you have Allen Robinson, arguably a top 10 receiver in the NFL, and we didn't go deep. We could sit here and say, you know, they were in a certain coverage, but you could still try to attempt.
Right.
You know, calling plays on 4th and 15 that were only going to get you 5 yards. Right. I could go on a rant about Matt Nagy all day on this podcast. Number 3, though, to a Bears win. Is it the defense, secondary, Sean Desai? They have to come to play. We can't have this miscommunication stuff. And I'm talking Eddie Jackson right now. Eddie Jackson, I'm not sure where you're at, but we need you, bro. You have to be a leader to this defense. We need you in that secondary. You and Deshaun Gibson, you guys are NFL veterans. That whole you learned that in Pop Warner, and I don't even play football. I played 1 year of football, but I even know that when someone falls, you need to touch them.
Right.
It's simple.
Yeah, that's only in the NFL though. You don't have to touch them in
Well,
high school. You don't have to touch them in college. But they know better.
They know better, right?
Yeah.
It's like we need our defense to show up. There's still a lot of good pieces on this defense. There's a lot of money going into this defense.
Well,
we need them to play.
Well, but it also don't help, man, when your best nose tackle sat out the whole fucking year,
right?
And he can't even start the first fucking game.
Yeah,
like come on, man, like that is a huge piece.
It is. Yeah,
you don't realize that. That's a huge piece. So now you got to double team him, and you got to double team Akeem Hicks. So now what's going to happen?
And then Bilal Nichols goes to the end.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So everything bottles in together.
Yeah. And yeah.
And then another thing is, we never know what would have happened if they would have just touched that guy.
Yeah.
Would the Rams score the touchdown, or would the Rams end up with a field goal? Who knows?
Yeah, it's just a lot of what ifs, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think they're not gonna have those mental errors again.
No.
I think Sean Desai will have these guys ready to go this week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He will have them ready to go.
No doubt.
And they're disappointed. I know how this defense thinks. Mm-hmm. They're not happy.
No doubt.
Because people are talking about them, and like you said, the Bears are known for their defense. So when they play like that, they're like, nah, we can't have that.
Right.
Can't have that.
And the last time our defense was like that is when we had Mark Trestman. We finally got an offense going.
Right.
Averaging 28 points a game, and the defense would give up fucking 27, 30 points.
Yeah.
But we got to get back to fundamentals, like making the easy play. The ball's caught, make the tackle.
Right.
No yak. No yards after catch.
Right.
Okay? Make the play.
No big plays.
No big plays.
No chunk plays, like what we like to call them. Yeah, so those are my 3 keys to a Bears win. Obviously, feed Montgomery. Try to go deep in this game. Get some big plays. And the defense has to come to play. So now we're going to go to our prediction. I know you don't like doing this, but what's your prediction for this game?
I say 24-21 Bears.
24-21 Bears. All right. Yeah, I have the Bears winning this one as well. I think they're going to be amped up coming back home to Chicago. I'm going to do Bears. You know what? I think I'm going to say 24-17. 24-17 Chicago with a huge win, especially when you have to go play the Cleveland Browns the next week. So this is a big game for the Chicago Bears for sure. So like always, let me know your guys' prediction down below in the comment section. Do you think the Bears will rebound against the Cincinnati Bengals at home this week? But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
Riding with Country Bear. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't